You're watching Swipe, and here's what we've got for you in the next 10 minutes.
Thomas gets a lesson in Blockbuster treatment at one of the UK's top visual effects companies. I find out what commuters think of the app that helps pregnant women get a seat on public transport. And we're finding our way through the darkness in our games review.
Welcome to Swipe. You can't have failed to notice it's movie awards season right now. But what you might not know is that London is fast becoming a hub for world-class visual effects. This week, Thomas has been finding out just how much work is involved in creating a blockbuster after the cameras have stopped rolling.
Ejiofor, Blunt, Garfield, a British invasion of Hollywood. But it's not just with the box office stars where the UK is flexing its cinema muscles. London's visual effects sector is booming. Small independents as well as big-name companies are leading the way. Jellyfish Pictures employs just 170 people and makes effects for everything from children's TV right up to Oscar-nominated blockbusters like Star Wars Rogue One. Hours of work can go into making a single frame.
Creatures, so mainly big creatures, small creatures, anything down to tiny little bees that we've done before.
And you have to do the animations on all these things.
You have to start from scratch, so it'll start from a concept design of what the bee actually looks like, and to actually sort of modelling and actually making a sort of a CGI element that feels a bit tactile if you were going to sort of touch it, and it's got wings, it's got feet, it's got eyes, and through that we now have an element that looks like it could have been shot by the director himself.
Virtual effects are worth an estimated £400 million to the UK film economy, but Brexit has cast a shadow on the sector's future.
It will mean we're going to have to look a lot harder for UK talent. There is something like 600 graduates coming out of college, I've been told, every year from VFX courses and animation courses in the UK, but unfortunately not all of those people are ready to come in to work.
More and more blockbuster productions are coming to London for world-class visual effects like these. In just 6 years, the workforce here has grown by 600%. The job now is keeping up with that demand.
And these are people that you've done on a green screen?
Alan came to the UK to study and was happy to find himself at the centre of Europe's VFX capital.
If you walk around Central, you're going to stop by VFX companies all the time. And this is just great. If I live here, I have the opportunity to apply for all these companies in central London. And I've been to lots of talks for the really big visual effects companies. And all of them keep telling me they have to specialise.
The industry is young and Britain is succeeding. Now it's a case of keeping that edge. Thomas Newton, Sky News.
Stay with us. Still to come, would you download an app to help pregnant women get a seat on the bus or train? I'll be speaking to the man behind that app after a roundup of this week's tech news.
The Queen's been learning about the threat of hackers this week. Her Majesty officially opened a new national cybersecurity centre which launched last year. Experts say Britain faces an increasing threat from cyber attacks. Dubai wants to have a passenger-carrying drone up and running this July. The head of the country's Roads and Transportation Agency made the announcement about the Chinese-made EHang 184 on Monday. It can reportedly carry people weighing up to 100 kilos along with a small suitcase and has a battery life of half an hour. It's reported Nokia is bringing back one of its most successful handsets from nearly 20 years ago. The 3310 is rumoured to be up for re-release this month at the Mobile World Congress event in Barcelona. Santander has become the first UK bank to let customers make payments by talking to an app. The bank says the voice activation technology currently running as a pilot also means users can check their balances and report lost cards. Who fancies a bit of submarine combat? Stick around, it's coming up in our games review. But before that...
Now, last month, a new app launched to help pregnant women get a seat on public transport. Now the makers say it's expanding to 155 countries. It's called Baby on Board and was created by a British entrepreneur who apparently felt guilty after he didn't offer his seat to a pregnant lady when he was too busy looking at his phone. So I went to meet him and I began by asking for a recap on how the app works.
It's very simple. A pregnant person downloads the Request Seat app, then they press the button and that sends a notification to everyone on the tube that they're pregnant and would like a seat. And then if you've got a companion app off a seat, then you'll get a notification comes up that says, heads up, there's a pregnant person near you, would you like to give up your seat?
So the other commuters have to have downloaded the companion app for it to work, basically.
That's correct.
So in your first month then, how successful has it been?
So a month ago we launched a London-based trial, and we've had 2,000 downloads in 3 weeks, which we think is pretty good. We set ourselves 50% of that target and we smashed it.
How do you know that 2,000 is a good amount in a city like London?
So we've talked to statisticians and we've talked to other app developers. In terms of the total universe of London commuters, 2,000 is a pretty decent amount.
Good idea, bad idea?
I think it's a wonderful idea, but I can't imagine enough people using it. You need the people who are not pregnant, but the non-pregnant people who are considerate of pregnant people to download it.
Exactly.
I think if you can get that to work, that would be great. I've been pregnant on tubes, and I think I stood up, most of the time.
I don't really use the train, and I assume it wouldn't work on a tube, so I probably wouldn't. Would work on the tube?
Uses Bluetooth, so it works underground.
Bluetooth. Oh, okay.
And it works on the bus, work anywhere.
To be honest with you, I think common courtesy, I would probably just stand when I saw a woman that was pregnant anyway. I don't think an app would help me in that regard.
Unless you're pregnant or somebody in your family is pregnant, there'd be no real reason for you to have an app like that.
The pregnant women also have to pay for the app, is that right?
Yeah, but that's a result of not having kids downloading it and trolling people, so we've just put a barrier there, but 100% of all the profits goes to charity.
What do you think is the biggest problem faced by entrepreneurs like you in Britain at the moment?
Big problem we face is talent, and it's finding the right people. Often they get sucked up into huge, big companies like Facebook and Google. We're looking to employ people who are AI experts, machine learning, and those people want to go and work for the big tech companies. And so to actually get them to come and work for a startup, you've got to have a really appealing proposition, and they've got to have faith that you can kind of deliver and create some really amazing products.
What do you do about that? You're going global now.
Really, it's about trying to convince people, selling the vision and getting them on board, and hoping that actually they don't want to go and work for a big faceless corporate. They want to come and do something that actually matters.
Let us know what you think of the app. Tweet us at Sky News Swipe. Video games time now, and this week Holly has been reviewing a few recent titles for us.
Diluvion is a steampunk Jules Verne-inspired submarine adventure which has combat and a lot of exploration. The idea is that hundreds of years ago there was a great flood, and now humanity finds itself trapped under ice underwater. So every settlement you come across is just a collection of kind of scrappy metal hulls clinging to the ice in a desperate attempt to keep alive. When you go out in your submarine and you go out to gather your crew and to increase how effective your submarine is, there's a lot you have to consider. So you need to consider oxygen to keep your crew alive, you need to have food to keep them alive. Now this all sounds really good and it's a great idea, however, the frustrating user interface and a very poor checkpointing system does let it down. Candleman is a 3D puzzle platformer in which you play as a little candle that wants to seek a greater light in the darkness. Now the whole mechanic around this is based on, as the candle, you can light yourself for up to 10 seconds in every level, so lighting the way in the very dark levels. But by doing this, you also burn down your own candle. So there's a battle between wanting to conserve your own wax and keep the character alive, but then also lighting the way. And it makes for some really interesting mechanics, and the use of light and dark leads to some really lovely art design. Now, it begins very interesting and there's some great ideas in there. However, the later levels do let it down a little bit, and the ending isn't that great, so that's a little bit disappointing. However, if you're looking for an interesting, something a bit different to play on the Xbox One, then I think Candleman is definitely one to look out for. Nintendo have brought their adorable platformer from the Wii U to the 3DS, and it is just as lovely. This game just has so much charm in it. You just have to look at it, and the detail that everything is made out of wool or yarn or cloth, the details are absolutely lovely. It's impossible not to be charmed by this game. Now there's a bit more to it than just a straightforward port. They have added some new features. So there are some new exclusive levels, but the main thing is Poochy, Yoshi's little dog friend, who is utilised within some of the levels in some really interesting ways. There's also the new ability to design your own yarn Yoshi, which is lovely, works really well. So if you had the game before on the Wii U, then maybe there might not be enough to justify it to get it again on the 3DS. However, it has still retained all its charm, all its lovely aestheticness. Just how gorgeous it is has worked really well on the 3DS, and so I would highly recommend it.
That's it for this week, but if you've just caught the end of Swipe, don't worry, you can catch up with all of our episodes on demand in all the usual places. I'll be back next week. I hope you can join us then. Bye-bye.